Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jay. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. If you've been here a while, pull up a chair. I'm glad you're back. I've missed you. Have I told you that? It's so nice to see you again. And today we are looking at 10 games on the Nintendo Switch eShop I think you should check out. Are these hidden gems? Dare I say it? Oh, yes, they are.
So I think the first time I played Montezuma's Revenge was back in the 80s on my Commodore 64, and it was a game that I remember really frustrating the ever-living hell out of me, but it was still something I went back to constantly because the challenge was fun. It was an exciting game. And this is no different today. This is the 8-bit version released on the Switch of Montezuma's Revenge, and it has all the classic kind of early Metroidvania gameplay you expect. You play as Panama Joe, and you're exploring the ruins, trying to find the different keys and weapons to make your way through to get to the treasure at the end, and it's just as difficult as you remember if you've ever played this one. And the thing I really like about this is not only is it a nice throwback, it's a fantastic retro game, there is so much extra content in here. So you have amazing photographs from back in the 80s when the game released. You have concept art. There's just a ton of stuff for you to explore and kind of just dive into the history of Montezuma's Revenge, and it's just a really fun title. I have a lot of fun with this one. This is a spectacular game. It's $11.99. If you have a love of classic 8-bit exploration games, you need to check this one out. Montezuma's Revenge 8-bit is a fantastic title. Right now we're taking a look at Blade Assault, and I want to thank PM Studios for the review code for this one. This is a really clever action platformer that does a lot of things very, very well. The animation system in the game is really well done. I truly enjoy the characterization and the different characters you're able to unlock and play as, which all have their own different play styles. So there's some variety in play there as you go through the game, which I think is a warranted and wonderful thing to have in place, because probably my chief concern with the game and my chief complaint with it is that the combat does get to be a little bit repetitious. So as you go through each particular level, you're going to go screen by screen, and on each screen you have to clear out wave after wave of enemy in order to move forward. Now, that's where the combat gets a little bit repetitious, because the wave after wave of enemy, it can be a little bit frustrating to kind of face the same enemies over and over again, but as you go further in, the more abilities you unlock and the more weapons you unlock and things like that does bring some variety to the game. So I think, like I said, there's definitely more good than bad here. This is a $17.99 game, and I do think this one is really fun. Although, like I said, do go in with a word of caution that there is some repetition in play here, so understand that you might want to toss this onto a wish list and take a look for it on a sale down the road. I first became aware of Doodle World back at the 2021 Midwest Gaming Classic in November, when I went to my first ever video game convention, and there was a huge presence from NES maker creators there, and Doodle World was one of them, and I was just immediately captured by the charm of the game. So if you don't know the story of Doodle World, this was created by Nate Peters, but it was based on a drawing that his daughter had created, and he was just inspired to turn it into a video game. Now, the nice thing about Doodle World Deluxe for the Switch is you get the original release of Doodle World, which is an already fantastic title, but you also get Doodle World Redrawn, which is a little bit more, I guess plussed is probably the best way to put it. It adds some new features, some new mechanics into it, as well as including a kids mode, which gives you a bit of an easier option with more lives and a more forgiving gameplay experience, so kids can have fun with this game as well. Now, it's a truly challenging game. There's a precision platform element here that is kind of betrayed by the overall adorableness of the title, but it's just such a fun game and such a wonderful little tribute to classic NES development and, honestly, fatherhood. I love Doodle World. I loved it the first time I played it at the Midwest Gaming Classic. I love it today on the Nintendo Switch, and Doodle World Deluxe is something that I think everyone needs to check out. And thank you so much to the publisher for providing a review code for Doodle World. This is a $9.99 game, and you will not regret playing this one. All right, so, okay, we're going to talk about Serial Cleaner now. Serial Cleaner, singular, by the way. There is a sequel called Serial Cleaners, which takes place a couple, decades later, but we are talking about the original release, the OG drop of Serial Cleaner, which came out back in 2017. I remember seeing this in the Nintendo Switch eShop when it dropped, and I was so excited to try it out. just because of kind of the clever nature of what the game was. So it's a stealth game, but you're not the killer. Like, you're not going through and trying to kill anybody. You're cleaning up their mess. That includes cleaning the floors, disposing of bodies, stealing evidence, running from the police, and hiding in different places throughout the levels to make sure that you're able to complete the objectives. It's just such a challenging, fun game that does something completely different than anything I had really ever played before. It feels a little bit like Monaco, but a lot nastier because it is a hardcore, mature-rated game. So be aware of that. Lots of language, violence, drugs, blood. There is a hard M on this game. Right now, this one is on sale for $2.24, but that's going to be through April 20th. It's normally a $14.99 game. This is one of my favorites. I truly adore this one. And if you dig like 70s aesthetic, including some killer 70s style costumes that you're able to unlock, Serial Cleaner is right up your alley. All right, you guys know I'm a huge fan of beat-em-ups. I'm a huge fan of Metroidvanias, and when you squish them both together into one tasty surprise, I am extremely happy. This is Curse of the Sea Rats. Now, I want to say thank you to the developers for providing a review code for this one. This is one I've had my eye on for a while, and this is just such a lovely game. First off, it's stunning to look at. The visuals in the game are gorgeous. The voice acting is magnificent. The soundtrack is wonderful as well. This is just everything that you want in a game like this, but it doesn't just stop with the look and feel, because the gameplay is amazing. You get to choose from 4 different characters that play uniquely to themselves, as well as being able to play 4-player simultaneous co-op locally. It's magnificent. There's a huge map to explore, lots of upgrades that you're able to get, items that you're able to explore and find throughout the levels. It's just a wonderful title, and it was a huge surprise to me. Like, it was something I had my eye on, and I thought it was going to be really cool, but getting the game and actually like falling into it and exploring it and enjoying it, it was so much more than I could have expected. Curse of the Sea Rats is wonderful. It's a $19.99 game, and if you love beat-em-ups, you need this one. If Vampire Survivors is ever offered on the Nintendo Switch, I will make the purchase immediately because I love that game so much. But in the meantime, I will be satisfied with clones of that game, and that is what we have here in Legion of Doom. If you know what Vampire Survivors is, you know what this game is. You just move around, it's going to auto-attack the enemies that are near you, you're going to collect experience and up your levels and increase your abilities to attack the hordes of enemies that are around you. This one isn't as full-featured as Vampire Survivors, I will say that. There's only 5 characters here, there's only 3 different campaigns to go through, but it's still a ridiculously fun game. It's simple for anyone to pick up and play. All they need to know is they have to move. That's it. You just have to move to avoid the enemies, and as your character grows stronger, you're going to defeat more and more of them with the different abilities you unlock. This is, true to form, a very cheap game, just like Vampire Survivors is. Normal price is $4.99. Right now through April 23rd, 2023, this is $3.49. And like I said, if you're looking to scratch that Vampire Survivor itch on the go and you don't have a Steam Deck, Legion of Doom will do the trick. And you guys know I love my twin-stick shooters. I've talked about them numerous times on the channel, and I want to talk to you today about a new one called Doomed to Hell. This was provided to me by the publisher, but this is one that I had my eye on. I've actually seen this on PC. My friend Corey has it, and I played it there, and I thought it was a fantastic title, and this was one that I had to get my hands on. Now, this is a twin-stick shooter roguelite where you're going to have a bunch of different levels thrown at you every time you play that are not going to be similar to the previous times you played. And as you go, you're going to be taking out enemies that are attacking you. It's a lot like most other twin-stick shooters in this regard, where you're going to have basic attacks, basic defense, basic moves, and a dash and things like that to be able to avoid, attack, and dodge. And it doesn't do, at first glance, a lot really exceptionally differently than anything you've seen before, but where it really comes into play are the different upgrades you're able to get after every wave, the different weapons you're able to buy that completely change the way you have to play the game, and just the overall feel and look of the title. It's a challenging game that does a lot by making itself unique while not just resting on its laurels and being content to just be another twin-stick shooter that everyone's played a million times before. Doomed to Hell is a fantastic game. $4.99. It's well worth it because it's just a super fun title. And I really think if you give this one a shot, if you like twin-stick shooters like Enter the Gungeon or Binding of Isaac, this is going to be a little bit more bite-sized and something that I think you're really going to enjoy.
I'm about a month behind talking about this one because a lot of folks were talking about Eldorand when it dropped, and rightfully so, because this is a hardcore action platformer with some really killer RPG elements. It's a little bit Dark Souls, a little bit Hollow Knight, a little bit Castlevania Symphony of the Night. This game is tough. It is a very hard game. You have a ton of different enemies that you're going to encounter, all with different abilities that do not want to see you succeed. And thank goodness there are copious save points as you go, because the game can be frustrating and you will die a lot. You have a ton of different weapons that you're able to unlock. There's whips, daggers, bows, swords, axes that you can throw. There's even magical stuff that you're able to find. And the exploration is really fun. It's all set up as a Metroidvania style title. It's a really neat game. Now, I said there were RPG elements, and there definitely are. You are able to use your level up as you go to improve your different skill sets, which offer health increases, damage increases, vitality, dexterity, things like that, that will make your exploration of the world of Eldorand a little bit more, I don't want to say fulfilling because the game is hardcore, but at least make it a little bit more accessible. This is a $19.99 game, and like I said, it is a hardcore game. If you are into Souls-likes and you like platformers like this, definitely give Eldorand a look.
Star Renegades really surprised me. This was one that I'd had on my wish list for a while, and I thought it looked really interesting, but I didn't really know quite what to expect from it because I just thought it had a neat kind of appearance to it. I hadn't really done a whole lot of research on it. Just when I first initially saw it, I was like, oh, this looks clever, and I do kind of like the sci-fi, cyberpunky kind of vaporwave aesthetic to it with all the neon pinks and blues and things like that, but I didn't really know quite what to expect from it. I just knew that I liked the look. So getting into game, I didn't expect something quite as deep as I got. So this has one of the most intuitive combat experiences I've ever played in a kind of, I don't want to say it's a tactical RPG because it's not really a tactical game, but there are tactic-based elements to how you plot and plan your attacks because every attack is going to take longer or shorter and cause different effects, and if you can cause your opponent to break, they're not going to be able to attack that round. So it's really balancing and making sure that you're moving and manipulating your attacks to make sure that you're getting the advantage in every round. And what I really find fascinating about this game is that you have great characters. The characters have fantastic personality, but the more you play and the more relationships you build, the characters that you're going to unlock are based on the progeny of the characters and the relationships they build. You're going to be bouncing through different realities. You're going to be having different experiences almost every single time you play, and the game generates enemies and bosses that will evolve as you go through the game. I'm just floored by the kind of technology that's at play in this game that's just kind of miraculous. Like I said, I picked this up on sale. I got it for $7.49, and frankly, I kind of feel like I got it almost criminally cheap. This is normally a $24.99 game, and I can tell you without hesitation, I wish I had picked this up when it originally released back in 2020 at full price, because this game is magnificent.
If you've been following the channel for any length of time, you probably aren't surprised that Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes is my most anticipated game of the year, even when compared to things like Tears of the Kingdom, or Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, or even the Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remasters that are coming out. Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes is the #1 anticipated game for me, because this is a brand new release from the mind behind the original Suikoden games. And from that universe, we received Eiyuden Chronicles Rising, which is an action RPG completely different than any kind of Suikoden game I've ever played before, and it's just such a great introduction to the world we're going to be getting. Now, this is a very straightforward hack and slash kind of platforming RPG where you're going through the town and performing tasks for the townspeople, as well as unlocking 3 different characters that you're able to play as to increase your party. So it's very much an appetizer for what's to come with 100 Heroes. But the game itself is incredibly charming. The writing is fantastic. The character of CJ, who is your main character that you play in this game, is a wonderful protagonist and someone that you're going to adore. I am so excited for 100 Heroes. And Rising, the introductory game for this brand new franchise, is magnificent. This is a $14.99 title. You're going to explore all kinds of different places in the Rune Barrows, find amazing treasure, and just have an absolute blast. This is one of the best kind of bonus releases I've ever seen for a new game coming out, and it's just a ton of fun. Eiyuden Chronicles Rising is out now, and Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes will release later this year.
Hey, there you have it, my friend. 10 eShop hidden gems that you should pick up right now. I think all these games are great. These are all fantastic options. I think there's something here for everybody with a wide variety of genres offered. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite is. And as always, I always solicit feedback from you guys, my viewers. Let me know if there's a particular hidden gem on the eShop that you think I should be checking out that I haven't looked at before. And if you are just stopping by for the first time and you want to see more games that I've suggested in this series, check out the playlist on screen right now. There's something like over 150 now that I've suggested over the 3 years I've been doing this series, so there's probably something in there for you. Hit the like if you enjoyed this video. Hit subscribe if you haven't done so and you want to stick around and check out some more stuff. And until next time, remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.